What's up, curious people? Welcome to my channel. I go by QMABA, where I answer all of the internet's most interesting questions, such as how BTS took over 2020, which you can check right here. Can North and South Korea really reunify? Or how is it that Vin Diesel never dies in any of his movies? Like seriously, I'm 100% sure his blood is the main ingredient used for the COVID vaccinations. Anyways, if you're new here, click the subscribe button to follow my journey in answering all of the world's unsolved questions. So, as a South Korean myself, I've always wondered why Korea was separated into two countries in the first place. After finding out that it was because after World War II and the defeat of the Axis power, Korea, which at the time was ruled by Japan, split into two countries. The southern part of Korea was going to be controlled by the US, and the northern part of Korea was going to be controlled by the Soviet Union, aka Russia. Fast forward after the Korean War, which resulted in the casualties of millions of Koreans, a ceasefire was signed, which created the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone, to separate both Koreas. So, technically, both South Korea and North Korea are still at war. So with all the history that North and South Korea have, can North and South Korea really reunify? The answer is not as simple as a yes or no. There are a lot of factors that play into the benefits and consequences of unification. Some of the factors include politics, economics, social impacts, and sustainability. As of right now, North Korea is in a dictatorship-type government, while South Korea is a democratic government. With ideologies being different, it is hard to unify a country when the bases of their countries are polar opposite. Imagine if you were a hardcore BTS fan, for example, and your sibling was a BTS hater. Y'all share the same blood, sweat, and tears, pun intended. But you probably want to kill each other. In unifying, one would have to succumb to their way of living. In this case, the North would have to change their political views, as it's a no-brainer that no one wants to live in a country that starves its citizens, censors info, and sends people to hard labor camps if they make fun of Kim Jong-un.
Oh, excuse me.
Did you just shart?
No, I did. It was that camera guy. It wasn't me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kim Jong-un has just pooed in his pants.
Thank God I don't live in North Korea, where I probably would be dead. The economics of reunification is key to finding out if it's actually worth it for both parties or not. Is it also beneficial for other countries that rely on South Korea's economy? As mentioned, perspectives matter a lot. In the case for South Korea, their economy right now is considered the 11th largest in the world. The economy of South Korea is 36.7 times larger than that of North Korea's in terms of GDP. For North Korea, they are one of the poorest countries in the world and heavily rely on foreign aid to help their citizens. Basically, South Korea is going to have to LeBron James down 3-1 this reunification.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James! LeBron James with the rejection.
So, you might ask, why South Korea, which is in a position of growth, would want to unify with North Korea, which is in a position of poverty? One main reason for South Korea is that North Korea has lots of natural resources that have yet to be touched, which could be beneficial for economic growth if reunification were to occur. In addition, with cheap labor in abundance due to population growth, according to a report by the Goldman Sachs, a united Korea could overtake France, Germany, and possibly Japan in 30 to 40 years in terms of GDP in US dollar terms. One thing mentioned previously was the population growth, which ties under one of the factors that affect reunification, which is sustainability. With the population increase, this could lead to more pollution simply because the north side of Korea would also be developed like the south if unification were to occur. And so with industrialization happening in North Korea and the population increase, this could lead to more pollution, which is a negative for its citizens, potentially more taxes to pay for cleaning up the mess, and the rest of the world. In another note, because of the increase in natural resources and more space than before, more investments could go into natural methods to power Korea. Lastly, the social aspect of reunification plays a huge factor. As stated by the International Policy Digest, it was estimated that over 50% of South Koreans in their 30s vote against reunification, while the number increases to 71.2% for South Koreans in their 20s. When interviewed, the South Koreans in their 30s generally said that they felt that South Korea was fine and better off without the North. There still is not a consensus on this issue by Koreans. In addition, with the cultures being vastly different now due to the censorship that occurs in the North, how will North and South Koreans coexist socially? How will North Koreans adjust to a life of free will and freedom of choice? All in all, I have laid out the reasons as to the benefits and negatives of reunification. From an ethical standpoint, many people, not including Koreans, would want Korea to unify. It's like trying to get along with the brother you haven't seen for a long time. There are going to be bumps and bruises along the way and some disagreements, but the bloodline is still there and you can never get rid of that. Another point to add is that, are other countries going to like this or try to sway the Koreas to not go with this? When combined together, unified Korea would be one of the strongest countries in the world. Would that affect the relations with other superpower countries like the US, Russia, and China? If you ask me, I think it's possible that both Koreas can reunify, but the probability that North Korea will completely change their government is unfortunately low. Thanks everyone for listening and watching my second video. I'm so happy that there were so many comments from my first video. Jokes aside, if you thought this video was informative, then hit the like and subscribe button to follow my journey into answering the internet's questions. Leave a comment down below on what you think the chances of both Koreas unifying are. As always, question until answered.